What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, thanks for tuning in. Sorry if you hear a bunch of birds around. They are out in full effect this morning. So what is it that we are getting done today? Today, I am finally getting the truck tinted. Something I've been putting off for quite a while because it is a bit expensive. As usual, I'm not going with anything cheap. I've decided to go with a nice XPEL dealer, XPEL Tint. They do a lot of different tints and wraps, or clear wraps, paint protection stuff, but XPEL has built a very, very nice name for themselves in the industry as a very high quality product. So that's what I decided to go with. It'll be a little more expensive than just a regular tint, but I think it'll pay off and I'll be super happy with it. Not to mention it's a lifetime warranty, not only for me, but for whoever I sell the truck to, if I ever sell the truck. So it's just kind of one of those things, maybe increase resale value a little bit, but overall it should make the truck look really, really good. Right now it's been driving around in a fishbowl for the last couple of years. Absolutely zero tint on the truck. I'm going to get the truck warmed up and then we'll head out, but first I got to give you guys one last look of what it looks like before the tint. Alrighty, so here's a quick look at it. I would show you from the driver's side, but the sun is beaming in right over the top of the hood and just blinding me and the camera. But here is what it looks like, completely untinted. Full look, don't mind how dirty it is. Let's get a closer look up here. So as you can see, other than the water spots, you can completely see straight into the cab. Absolutely no tint on the thing whatsoever. So I don't really like having absolutely no privacy, and I don't plan on completely limo tinting it and blacking it out, but I would like to have it a little bit darker. Seeing that this is my first time tinting the vehicle, I've seen a lot of stuff online. I have a general idea of what I want, but I haven't fully decided what I'm going to do on the vehicle yet as far as percentage wise goes. I will almost definitely be tinting the windshield and all the other windows around the truck. I think it will turn out really, really nicely. So with that, I think I'm going to get the old girl fired up. Maybe let you guys listen to a nice little cold start. Not exactly cold, but has been sitting a few days. Let her warm up, and then we'll head off to the shop. Alrighty, got the old girl fired up. Got a full tank of diesel, which is always a good feeling. I filled up this tank for like $68. I think $68 for 31 gallons. That is a really, really good feeling. But want to give you guys a quick look at what it looks like. As I said, it's like riding around in a fishbowl, especially compared to the mom wagon over there. Got darker tint than I do. But here's a look. I think it's time to go get the old girl tinted. So with that, I'm going to sign off, and I will probably catch up with you guys when she's a little bit darker. Well, alright guys, it is the next day. The truck is done, and I have to admit, it looks pretty darn good. Looking at it right now, super, super happy with how it turned out. Ended up going a little darker than I initially planned, and I am very, very glad that I did. So I won't bore you with any more talking. I'll go over all the rest of the details after the reveal. But for now, I think it's time for you guys to see the final product. Let me know what you guys think about it. you guys go, there's the look at the truck with the new tint. I think it looks really, really good. It looks fairly dark from the outside. When I went in, I wasn't sure whether I wanted to go with 35% or 20%. And what I ended up doing was I chose 20%, and I am super, super happy that I did. I do think 35% would have been too light. You would have been able to see into it a little more than I would have liked. I could have gone darker on the back windows. With Oregon law, with trucks and SUVs, you're allowed to go as dark as you want on the rear windows, but I wanted it to all match up so it all looks equal, and some windows weren't darker than others. So I went 20% all the way around. On the windshield, I ended up going with 55%, which was darker than I initially planned as well, but after driving with it yesterday on the way home from the shop, I think it'll be just fine. Obviously, I haven't driven it at night yet, so it could be a little dark, we'll see, but I don't think it'll be all that bad. It's starting to rain, so I'm going to hop in the truck, show you guys what it looks like inside, and get out of the rain. All right, so inside the truck now, as you can tell, it is darker in here, but it really isn't all that dark. You can still see out plenty well. It's a cloudy day. Obviously, it's not nighttime right now, but it's a cloudy day. It's not sunny at all. And you can, as you guys can see, you can see out just fine. Like I said, all of these windows you see around me are 20% tint. I'll flip the camera around and show you the windshield, which is 55% tint, and then I'll go back and forth between the two windows, and hopefully you guys will be able to see a little bit of a difference on what the darkness actually looks like. Let me clear off the windshield so you can get a little better look at it. Alright, so here's what the 55% looks like on the windshield. I opted not to go with the brow up top. I really did think about going with the brow up top, but I decided not to. Mainly, I don't like the look of them, but the functionality of them is really nice. Having that really would help block out a lot of the afternoon sunlight if you're driving into the sunset. But I didn't really like the look of it. I figured if I really wanted to, I could add it later, but for now, I'm just going to keep it as it is. So here's what the 55% looks like. As you can tell, it really isn't dark at all. Here's what 20% looks like. You can probably see a slight difference between the two, but it's nothing crazy. From the outside, it's definitely more noticeable than it is from the inside. Now, after seeing this, I could see how some people go with 20% on the windshield. I wasn't going to go that crazy, but gives you guys a good reference of what it looks like, 20% versus 55%. So I'll give you a look at what it looks like with the 20%, then I'll open up the door to show you guys what it used to look like with standard daylight without any tint on it. So 20% and then daylight. So this is what it would have looked like before. I'm not rolling down my windows right now, mainly because you got to let the moisture behind the film dry out completely to kind of solidify the bond between the tint and the window. But this is what it would have looked like with my untinted windows versus that. There's a quick little comparison. 0, 55, and 20. So there's a look from inside the truck. Like I said, it really isn't as dark as you would think with 20%. I would have expected 20% to feel darker inside the cab, but right now I think it is just about perfect. So I told you guys I went with XPEL Tint. Now there's a few different levels of XPEL Tint, and you guys knowing me know I can't go cheap, so I chose the second highest level of XPEL. If you guys are unfamiliar with the XPEL name, look them up. They are a very, very well-known name in the automotive film industry at this point. Between tinting and paint protection wraps, they've built a very, very good name for themselves and a very good reputation. But I will say they're not cheap. They are not the cheapest option out there. So that's something to keep in mind. As far as the different options that XPEL has, like I said, I chose to go with the third option. I'll give you a listing of what they are. So the first part of it is all the XPEL wraps block out 99% of the UV light. So what that'll basically do is just help keep the plastics in the interior of your truck looking nice, looking fresh, and not have as much sun damage going onto them. The second measurement of the XPEL wraps is the infrared blocking. For those of you guys that don't know, a very dumbed down scientific explanation of it, infrared light is the source of the heat that we get from sunlight. That is what the heat is the infrared light. Hence why if you're looking through an infrared scope or something, heat sources illuminate because they're picking up on the infrared light. So as far as infrared blocking goes, the 4 different options that XPEL has, their lowest option, I'm going to be looking down because I have a list in front of me. So the lowest option is the XPEL Prime CS, which blocks out 5% of the infrared light. I tested out in the shop with a little light that they have. Really not much of a difference with that. The next step up is the XPEL Prime HP, which jumps it up to 30% blocking of the infrared light. And I would say that is a noticeable jump between those two. The one that I chose to go with, which is the third step up, is the XPEL Prime XR. So the XR blocks out 88% of the infrared light. I can say from my short drive home, the 88% blocking is a very, very noticeable difference between clear windows and regular sunlight and what actually gets through this tint. It is a significant temperature difference. Now, for me personally, this is kind of a good and bad thing. Good thing is, in the summer, it should help to keep the truck a lot cooler, allow the AC to keep up better, just keep the truck cooler in general so you're not jumping into a piping hot truck. Now, if the truck's sitting in the sun all day, I'm really interested to see how it does in keeping the heat out. We'll see, but in general, it'll help keep the heat out of the truck significantly. Now, the downside of it, for any of you guys that have lived or grown up in a cold environment, you'll know how nice it is to be able to be walking through the cold and jump into your truck and have your truck be nice and warm from sitting in the sun all day. Unfortunately, this is also going to reduce that. Kind of the sacrifice I made to go with this level of wrap. Won't be enjoying the warm of a truck on the cold winter days, but it is what it is. I figured the truck warms up fast enough, I can turn on the heat and survive. Final wrap that I ended up not going with, which was probably another $100-$150 higher than what I wanted to spend or than what I already spent, was to go with the XPEL XR Plus. And that blocks out 98% of infrared light. I'd imagine it does its job very well. For me, I just couldn't justify the price increase. Between the level 2 and level 3, we're looking at a 30% to 88% increase. And for $100, I thought that was pretty darn good, pretty well worth it. To go from 88% to 98% for another $100, I just chose not to do it. Overall, I don't regret any of the decisions I made on how I chose to go with this. I think it looks really good on the truck. It seems to function really good. I'm looking forward to having it through this next summer to see how much of an impact it actually makes. So I think that's all there is to really talk about this. I could probably keep rambling on about something, but I'll let you guys go. Hopefully this video won't be too crazy long. Let me know what you guys think about the tint. I think it turned out really good on the truck. I think it gives it a nice little touch, and it's kind of one of those things that when you look at, even if you don't realize it, your mind kind of figures out that it's not normal and it's not stock, and somebody's put in some extra effort to it. So let me know what you guys think about it. Should I have gone darker? Should I have gone lighter? What are your experiences? I'm sure there's going to be people on both ends of that spectrum, but let me know. I'd like to get your guys' opinion on it. Of course, I'm happy with it. If you guys like the video, leave it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, I encourage you to subscribe so you don't miss out. I just got word from the powder coater that the Mishimoto coolant reservoir is done. I'm going to be going to pick that up tomorrow, which means it's going on the truck here pretty soon. And I got a number of other pretty cool projects lined up already. With that, I think I'm going to sign up. Hopefully you guys have had a good weekend. I'll catch you guys on the next video.